Yeah, so the fish that thinks it's a terrestrial is never going to solve the problem. He doesn't even know he's supposed to be in the water. He just knows he's suffering on a bummer, you know. And so he's always trying to find some solution, you know. And when a little rain cloud comes and he gets, you know, a little shower of rain, he's thinking, man, I feel good now. Wow, this is so nice. You know, it's like the new girlfriend or something, you know. Oh, I feel really good now.
Get some temporary relief.
And then the rain stops and the sun comes out, and, you know, the suffering is more intense. And he's even feeling worse because there was some relief and now it's been taken away. And now he's in more stress, etc. So, yeah, that's what we have to do, is understand exactly what you perfectly presented there. You know, the suffering in the material world is not unnatural. Being here is unnatural.
Hey there, you've tuned into the Breaking Trail podcast with me, Ruben, and my friend and teacher, Valakia. So happy to have you here. And today's episode is about adapting to a changing world, how we can and should learn to deal with the temporary nature of this world and find shelter in the eternal. So let's begin. Namaste, Valkia.
Namaste, Ruben. Haribo.
Namaste. Good to see you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome.
I can feel your fire as well.
I feel the warmth. Wow. Man, it's minus 17 out here, so that's why we have two fires. We gotta get it. We gotta have it going, you know. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minus 17 is enough to make you do something different.
And it's normally in minus 17, where I'm from in north of Sweden, wouldn't be a big problem. But here, when you have the ocean, the open water right nearby, it's really intense. Like, it's really cold.
Yeah, it burns when you go out.
Yeah, exactly. It does. You feel it in your face, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna...
I don't envy that part.
But you like the cold as well, I know, so...
I like the cold, but that kind of cold is not fun for anybody, you know.
Yeah.
There's different kinds of cold. I mean, like you say, 17 can be many different 17s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's like...
Sun's out or no sun or wind or moisture or all that together.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is, you know. But it's kind of a reminder again about the topic we have today, adapting to changing world. Like, the world outside is not always so easy, you know. It's a tough place to be in.
Yeah, and you know,
but
you can start by adapting to the ever-changing weather. You know, if you're in a place like you are, really, I mean, it's all part of the same story. You just got to learn to deal with different changes on different levels, you know. But the weather is a good practice ground, you know. It's a good place to get training, you know. So if you can go out and look at 17 damp, cold, and, you know, 0 in basically the same way, you just add the clothes or take them off or, you know, adjust the layers in a certain way. That's actually good training.
Yeah.
You know, there was a period, I don't know, some years ago, and there was a whole winter where I did cold water bathing. And I made it a point to just basically do it every day. And it's just,
oh, really?
And part of the winter was in Norway, and I was all up in northern Norway, up around Narvik and so on, and just go down and get in the water, you know, and it'd be minus whatever it was, or cut a hole in the ice in Oslo and there was a river there, and we cut a hole in the ice. We go through the ice, or in Canada, or whatever. But the point is, overall, it wasn't good for my body because of the constitution of my body, Vata constitution predominant, and it was very stressful on my kidneys. But it was the mental part that I liked the most because, it's before light in the morning and it's doing whatever it's doing weather-wise. But your agenda is you're going to go do that. Yeah. Whether it's this way or that way or another way. And
whether you feel like it, whether or not, like you just...
And you got to just take your clothes off and get in that water. And your mind, you have to really adjust the mind. I mean, the mind has to just overcome all these challenges, like, don't do it, it's too cold, it's going to freeze. Or you're already anticipating, misery before you get in there. But you just learn to overcome that. And it's was a mind strengthening tool. I'm not recommending this to anybody else. That's just something I did. But I did notice that part of it was really, really something dynamic, Because hardships in life come in many different ways, don't they?
Yeah. They do.
Like right now, I mean, in your little advertisement, I think you mentioned a few of the obvious ones right now, like COVID-19 crisis or, losing someone you love or, and this is a day in a life, really, in the material world. It's always something.
Yeah, it's not surprising that it is like that.
So you can gain those mental strengths and stabilities, but that only takes you to a point. And then you got to go to another level. And because like going in cold water, that was strong on one level of mental strength,
Yeah.
But there's so many levels of sentiment and emotion and fear and anxiety, not from that kind of a situation, but on a deeper level, personal attachments and, real, losing what has been your foundation or your strength or, your source of happiness. And so that's another whole dimension.
It is, but I see what you mean in the sense that when you learn to do those small things in your daily life, like it's your daily activities and that can prepare you for the big things. So it doesn't need to be like, the small habits, the small where you take a step back and you don't have to follow your desires, but you follow a higher guidance of what will be good for you. Like you use your intelligence and see, so I need to do that, even though my desire may be this and that, but I need to do that. And you take one step, and then you're prepared for whatever may come.
Breaking trail one step at a time.
And that's the name of our podcast for those who haven't joined us before.
That's how we have to approach everything in life.
Yeah.
In our scriptures that we study in Bhakti Yoga, it refers so often to the gradual process, of Bhakti Yoga. It's not like the modern times when everybody wants something instant. You just do a little something, you take a different pill, or whatever you might do to get an instant result. We're so accustomed to, well, it didn't work. How long's it been? 1 hour, 2 hours. Oh, I've been doing this for 1 day and nothing happened yet. And so on these levels of life that we're talking about, it's a gradual process.
Mm.
And you're familiar with Ayurvedic medicine, I know that.
My wife is studying that for anyone who doesn't. Yeah, so we're talking about it all the time. What were you going to say?
But one thing you'll notice about Ayurveda is when you get a treatment from a real Ayurvedic doctor, it's not instant. It's slow because it's the idea of kind of restructuring and rebuilding and changing a lot of things on a lot of different levels. And that doesn't happen overnight. And so Ayurveda, for a lot of people, is not very popular because it's just too slow and too involved. Yeah. You got to do this and do that. And, it's like, oh, just give me a strong medication.
That can fix that. I just met, that's a long time, like 3 months ago, I met with an Ayurvedic doctor who told me, so for the next 3 months, you need to keep a vegan diet, no sugar, no wheat. So I'm doing that now. I'm like to get some mucus out of my system. And then, we had a follow up and he said, it will be best for you if you keep doing that until next summer. I'm like, oh, man. No sweets, no honey, no dates.
So
anyway.
That takes a mental adjustment.
Oh, man, yeah.
But also an acceptance. You just have to accept it. Okay, this is the new story.
Yeah, and once you've done that, it's not like Lynn cooks something and it's, she asked me like, because I usually drink milk in the evenings. That's an Ayurvedic thing that, you do with some spices and just a little cup of warm milk in the evening to help you rest and replenish the body. And she says like, well, wouldn't you like some? And I'm like, well, I'm not even interested because I know I've already made a decision like that's not the way I'm going to go right now, so I don't have to rely on my willpower to do these things. It's like a decision I've made in my life, and then that's the way I'm going to go. It's not in my life, it's not in my world right now, at least for the time being. And that's, I think, an important lesson for spiritual life as well.
And another point in connection with all of this is knowledge. You've gotten the knowledge from someone you trust, who is your, immediate authority on this mucus issue you're dealing with. And so you just accept it, But without knowledge, you're just floundering around. Oh, you do this for a little while, you do something else for a little while, and maybe, one of those things that you do is counterproductive. It's going in the exact opposite direction of what direction you should be going in, but you don't know that. It sounds good in the beginning, and then it comes out later that it was, a mistake to do that for your situation. Yeah. So in other words, an authority that has actual knowledge that can guide you properly is mandatory. And that's just in material life. But when we talk about spiritual life, it's even more of an unknown subject to the general world. I mean, this is really in the dark for most people. And so even more so, you need a real authority who has real vision and shines a light on the truth of life.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I have a quote actually that I would like to read, and this is actually from such an authority. This is from one of our spiritual teachers, because this is just to the essence of what we're dealing with. He says that suffering in this world is natural for the spirit soul, just as it is natural for fish to be suffering and unhappy when he's not in the water. What's unnatural is not the suffering, but the spirit souls being here in the material world. What's unnatural is not that the soul is unhappy here, but the fact that the soul is here. So yeah. I just...
Yeah. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that the soul is suffering in this unnatural condition? Is because the nature of the soul is to be happy. And when we're not happy, that nature is counter nature, so to speak. It's like, I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not. Why am I not happy? But due to lack of knowledge, we don't know we're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, that's true. And then we think that it's the problem with how we're externally like placed in above the water, but the problem is that we're on land. We need to get back into the water.
Yeah, so the fish that thinks it's a terrestrial is never going to solve the problem. He doesn't even know he's supposed to be in the water. He just knows he's suffering on a bummer, you know. And so he's always trying to find some solution. You know, when a little rain cloud comes and he gets, you know, a little shower of rain, he's thinking, man, I feel good now. Wow, this is so nice. You know, it's like the new girlfriend or something, you know. Oh, I feel really good now.
Get some temporary relief.
And then the rain stops and the sun comes out, and, you know, the suffering is more intense. And he's even feeling worse because there was some relief and now it's been taken away. And now he's in more stress, etc. So, yeah, that's what we have to do, is understand exactly what you perfectly presented there. You know, the suffering in the material world is not unnatural. Being here is unnatural.
And but then what do we do with that? I guess is the next step. What do we do with that knowledge? Because we are here, well, apparently.
We are here, but again, back to knowledge and guidance, we can learn how to redirect our mental and physical activities so that we're experiencing the spiritual realm, which is our true realm, because we are all spirit souls, you know, in temporary material bodies. So you're not going to solve the problems of the material bodies always changing and all the, you know, pain and suffering and ups and downs and so on that goes with that on both levels, a physical body and a mental body. That's just how it is, you know. But understand that we are not that, and we're getting our real happiness and strength and foundation from a spiritual source, a spiritual, you know, connection and spiritual nourishment and spiritual happiness, you know. And so all that stuff that's going around us, you know, we're not trying to stop that. We're not trying to perfect the material world to make it suitable for the spirit soul, but we're trying to perfect our relationship with the supreme spirit soul so that we can always be in that contact and that shelter.
Yeah, because I guess the body is one aspect, but the bigger aspect is, but it's the same, the bigger aspect being the world around us that is always changing. And, you know, now it looks like it's, you know, you can discuss this in many ways, but we can just say that the world is changing really fast, and things are happening that we didn't think would ever happen, you know, would ever happen if we look back a while ago. So much unexpected things happen, so much, and, you know, yeah, you might have a lot of fear, but I guess is that what you're speaking about, some sort of detachment then from the world? Because that's what we need. I guess we need to be like not clinging to the world to give us the happiness and the shelter and the safety that we need.
Yeah, it is. It's every yoga teaching that you can find, if it's a true yoga teaching, always is talking about that exact subject, non-attachment.
Yeah.
You can be involved in a lot of things, which is, you know, obviously necessary on many occasions, to be involved in many things in the material world. We're not promoting a recluse type life,
Yeah.
where you just go off to some spot far away from everything and exist in a reclusive environment. But we're saying, you got to be involved in a lot of things, whether it's jobs or family life or, the nuts and bolts of keeping the body alive and whatever it is, but non-attached to it. It's not your source of happiness and strength and satisfaction. See, you're just dealing with it as you need to. And therefore, when it comes, it comes. When it goes, it goes. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord teaches that the happiness and distress of this world is like the coming and going of the winter and summer seasons. Yeah, now you're experiencing the winter season. It's calm. What are you going to do about it? But it's going to go, and then there's going to be the green summer. I mean, the green winter.
The green winter, yeah. That's what they call it.
And for those of you who don't know, Norway can be cold all year round, not as cold as minus 17.
They yeah.
One time I was in Røros,
Røros,
in Norway. It's over by Sweden. It's one, if not, I think it might be the coldest place, or one of the coldest places.
Because it's so far inland.
Anyway, it's really cold. Mm-hmm. It's so far inland, yeah. And so I was there in the winter one time and talking with this local lady. We were renting a little room from her for a couple of nights. And I said, "Oh, how's it in the summer here?" She said, "Oh, you mean the green winter?" That was the first time I heard that saying.
They also say like we have 10 months or 9 months of like winter, and then we have 3 months of bad ski conditions or poor ski conditions. Like the ski conditions are a little bit worse than usual for 3 months. No. So yeah. Anyway, you're not trying to change that. You're just working with that. So just like on that physical level, you buy the proper clothes. You learn about which is the best kit, they call it, to have, what works the best. And you try to arrange it so you have that, and it reduces the negative experience a lot. And if you have the proper clothes, like if you're out wanting to help someone that's in the cold, you don't go out with your summer clothes and freeze to death in 20 minutes, but you make sure to prop up yourself with the good clothes yourself, so you go out there and well prepared to help others. All right.
Right. Exactly. Good analogy. So if you want to help others, you got to be prepared yourself. That's kind of the idea. So, by nature, we want to help other people. I mean, yeah, we can become so self-centered and covered that we kind of lose all compassion for others, and we don't care about other people. It's all about me, exploitative mentalities. This is a very covered condition, but it's not the nature of the soul, And those kind of people are the most miserable of all, because it's further away from their nature. But the real nature of the soul is to help other people, because mercy and compassion and care and concern for others is part of the soul's true nature.
Yeah.
So, the more you are on that level, the more you're close to your real self. So back to that general idea, you want to go out and help somebody in the cold, you got to be prepared yourself. If we want to go out and help other people, just in general, in their life, then we've got to be prepared ourselves. So that again comes back to knowledge and guidance, and I understand what you need, and I have the understanding of how to deliver what you need. Not it's coming from me, but I'm just the postman, so to speak. I'm delivering the message.
Yeah.
I'm delivering the advice and the knowledge.
Yeah.
And, with encouragement and some obvious real care there, people can sense that this guy really cares about
Yeah.
me. He's not asking for money. It's not like he cares about me because he's going to get something from me,
Yeah.
but he just wants to help me. And people can sense that. I mean, we're all sensitive beings,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
So, if you've got that ability to deliver that solution or help, then you're going to be successful. You're going to be able to do something without getting damaged yourself. This is the next point.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you got the right clothes, you go out and help somebody in the cold without freezing yourself.
And yeah.
So, that comes back to the general concept of attachment. If we can operate with true love and compassion without getting attached, then we can do much more, because attachment and all this kind of blinds us to many things. And we can't be objective. Like a doctor has amazing knowledge of how to operate on you for whatever your condition may be, but he's not attached. If he's too attached, it gets in the way of his ability to perform.
Yeah.
And then if something does go wrong, and inevitably it can in any situation, he knows I did the best I could, and then he does whatever he can to rectify whatever may have happened.
Exactly.
But it's the attachment that's the problem. And that's what keeps us in the material world. That's what keeps us here, lifetime after lifetime on the wheel of birth and death. I'm too attached to leave, kind of thing.
You're kind of bound up by all your, how does that look in practice? Like, you're bound up by your desires and your connections to the people around you, or?
Yeah. Like how many times have you seen in your life, and I've seen in mine many times, and everybody, it's obvious that a certain individual, could be ourselves, it could be others, should leave a particular situation. It's time to go.
Yeah.
But you can't leave because of the attachment.
Yeah.
So you stay there and subject yourself to, so much hardship and suffering and, all kinds of things because you can't leave.
It's
Whereas if you weren't attached, you'd have been gone long ago.
It's kind of like when you're angry, or when you you can't leave because you just want to get hit back. You want to be like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna be right. Like, you can't give up the argument.
Yeah.
Oof.
You can't. You want to have the last
Exactly.
blow.
Oh. Yeah.
So attachments are not in our favor. But a spiritual attachment, that's on another different level. So we learn in Bhakti Yoga that the material world and the spiritual world are the exact opposites. And like we're talking about, the natural environment for the fish is the water, because the fish is an aquatic. So the natural environment for the soul is the spiritual world, because we're spiritual beings, spirit, soul in the spiritual world. That sounds correct.
Like it fits, yeah.
But spirit, soul in the material world, I don't know. It's kind of like oil and water. You can put them together, but they never mix. So that's the idea. As long as we're in this world and attached to this world, we will stay in this world. And just like you read the quote from our spiritual teacher, it's not the material world that's the problem. It's our being here that's the problem. So one of the first steps in education of the truth of life is knowing who I am. I'm spirit soul. I'm not the material body.
Yeah.
That's a big, big, big step.
Huge.
A huge realization. I'm not the body. And that includes the physical body and the mental body. So once a person maybe doesn't realize it fully, but like I realized it, but accepts it philosophically and understands it from that angle, then they can start to accept more about, well, what is good for me, the spirit soul, and what should I do to enhance my spiritual well-being, and kind of go away from 100% of what can I do to enhance my material situation.
Yeah.
How can I enjoy this material world more? Get away from that, because it's a self-serving dead-end street.
Because your natural position isn't to be the enjoyer of the world, and then that will not be a harmonious situation. Like that doesn't work.
So focus on the spiritual aspects of life.
I'm gonna put some firewood on otherwise because it's our only way of heating. So, but I have a quote to read. Give me 1 second, and I'm just gonna throw on some.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your duty. Those fires are not so good. They go out really quick. Like what? 20 minutes? 25 minutes?
All right, I'm back.
This is a unique podcast. You get to watch fire kindling, jetting fire.
Yeah.
I just saw on the news where some family I think it was somewhere in the States, Michigan or somewhere. Anyway, they had a big mansion. They just paid $1.8 million for it.
Mm-hmm.
But they had an infestation of snakes in the house.
Snakes. Okay.
So they were trying to eradicate the snakes by setting some burning embers where this nest of snakes was to smoke them out.
Oh.
And then they left the house, and the embers caught the whole house on fire, burned it to the ground.
Yeah, that sounded like a bad idea.
So they got rid of the snakes, but rid of the house at the same time. So anyway, I thought that was kind of unique.
Gotta have a better long-term solution, But
yeah.
I was just gonna read. This is another quote from our spiritual teacher. This is just. I'm just going to read it. How can we find perfect harmony in an imperfect world? Perfect world means no fear, no cravings eating at our heart and mind, no anger plaguing us, no frustration, no anxiety or fearfulness, no envy. And where you have the positive happiness of peacefulness and ananda, spiritual love, love for the supreme and love for others. This is harmony. And unquote, and that's the spiritual world. Vaikuntha, I remember we talked about that before. You had to talk about this life without anxiety, Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, the world without anxiety.
Yeah. So again, it's the nature of the soul to be in harmony with the Supreme Lord and others.
Exactly.
And that also includes in harmony with nature, because nature is also an aspect of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah.
And so the laws of nature are already in place, and our position is to harmonize with those laws
And
of
that
nature.
includes the law of karma, yeah?
So yeah. And if you look at all these problems plaguing the world today, it's like, it's because of inharmony. You see, people aren't harmonizing with nature at all. There's trying now an attempt that we've almost destroyed everything to, let's kind of now harmonize, But it's as far down the road. It should have been done from the very beginning. Then you wouldn't have all these dramas, and harmonize with each other, and all the conflicts that we are seeing is because of self-centeredness, lack of harmony, not following the plan, not doing our duty in connection with the divine plan of life in the material world. I mean, there is a plan of how to live in the material world and have a progressive spiritual journey back home. That's all outlined very clearly in the Vedas. As a society should be oriented in this direction, and the different members of society, according to their consciousness and attractions and abilities, should perform different functions to make the whole unit operate smoothly. And on the guidance goes on how to be in harmony with all aspects of our life. And, just the beautiful quote you just read about the care, the mercy, the love, and that's harmony, peace, freedom from fear, but it doesn't come by following a self-centered lifestyle of doing what I want to gratify my senses. That doesn't produce that. That produces the exact opposite of that. Quarrel, chaos, and confusion comes out of the self-centered, I, me, mine, I'm always right, I want to exploit and be the Lord. There's no harmony there.
And that is the time that we're living in Kali Yuga, the age of. There are 4 different time periods. Actually, I was just the other week. I think this was 1 week ago. Joe Rogan he wrote a thing about it, and he said that we're now in Kali Yuga, and what we're seeing now was predicted long ago in the Vedas, and we should do our best to elevate ourselves and the world around us from the madness that is in the air, but understand that this insanity is all part of an infinite process. So I just thought that was interesting that he also he said that 1 week ago, and then
wow. Somebody I know must have talked to him.
Yeah.
Yes. It's true, the truth is true. It doesn't matter who it comes from.
Exactly.
It's true, And, it's been said since the beginning, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, And that's an eternal truth. And if we don't have the truth, then we have non-truth. I mean, these are one of two things. You either know the truth and embrace that, or you have non-truth and embrace that. And then the two results will be very different. And, if you just adopt one little point of the truth, that's that much. And, gradually we might want to add more truth and discard more non-truth as far as our platform of life that we operate from. And, and that's what that's what we should do.
And
really.
just coming back to like how so if you see in practice in a person's life, they're, and myself as well, like dealing with fear, insecurity, and the feeling of that you're kind of lost in the future and lost in the world because of what's going to happen and how it's going to be, and taking care of things. Like, how does what you're speaking about, how does that apply and help one like me, or like a normal person in this world that is seeing all these things and experiencing all these? Like, how does this help me deal with COVID and the small practical things? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's if you've really got that inner strength. What is fear from? Fear is from insecurity. What might happen? I'm afraid. And the main fear that everyone has is, I might die. I mean, why are we afraid of high places? Or why are we afraid of, the dark? Or because it's the unknown. I might fall down, and if I do, it could kill me or greatly injure me. Yeah. Or I might, stumble on something in the dark, or there might be creatures in the dark. I mean, the mind can go crazy with that one. What's out there in the dark?
That's true.
Or, dangerous situations with other people. I mean, some places in the world there's so much danger just from other humans, that are not wishing us well. They would like to harm us, rob us, kill us, exploit us. There's all kinds of fear. Or fear that I might not succeed in life, whatever our vision of success is, Yeah. It could be, I won't get married, nobody will love me, or, I'll fail in my career, or, all kinds of different similar situations that produce anxieties and fear. Because that's kind of like my strength. That's kind of like where I'm trying to find shelter where there's no shelter.
Yeah.
But if I've got that shelter, then I'm not afraid of all those things. I'm cautious, yes. I'm not stupid. I'm use my intelligence and try to avoid, as much, adverse situations as possible, and protect myself in whatever way I can, physically and mentally. But that's different than being afraid. Some people are paralyzed with fear.
Yeah.
It gets so bad they can't even go out of the house, can't even get out of bed.
Exactly. Or they even like they can't, hang out with their most loved ones because the fear is greater than, they're afraid that something's going to happen or they're going to get sick or.
Yeah, it's intense paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just heard, and I haven't seen it personally, but I was told it was recently in some news somewhere that there's whole families committing suicide. The mother and the father kill the kids and then themselves because of climate change.
Oh.
They see there's no future because, the doomsayers, the planet's going to get so warm, the sea's going to rise, and the storm, whatever, all the climate predictions, that they just see no reason to live. There's no future. And they just, whole family is killed, I mean, that's how extreme it can be. I mean, the mind can just take us into these unbelievable acts of insanity because we're afraid of the future. So, but no matter how you try to adjust the mind materially, it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. There has to be that interspiritual strength, that connection, that knowing I'm spirit, soul, I'm not the body. And the worst scenario is I could die. And what does that mean? I, the spirit, soul, leave this temporary material body, which I'm going to do.
That's true. So it's not that bad.
So whether it's whether it's from COVID or whether it's from a car accident or cancer or old age, I mean, it's an inevitable future. And so I prepare for that. And without fear, just calm preparation, and that means developing my spiritual strength, my spiritual relationship with the Supreme, and I'm solid in that. And if you look at the great saints of the past, many of them have been, really put to ill ends by people who couldn't accept what they had to say or understand what they were trying to do, you see.
Yeah.
But they had another reason to exist, and it wasn't, the material comforts, but that's their service. That's what they were doing. I'm not saying we should be martyrs. I'm not promoting that. But the point is they had a different world they were living in.
And there,
and that was their strength.
And then that love is like it shone through and it shines through so much that nothing can take it away. I mean, when Jesus was put on the cross and he says he begs his Father to please forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, to have that strength and to be able to, he's begging his Father to forgive those people who just did the most horrific torture, murder that you could imagine. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the culmination of the journey. That's what we should try to get to, not artificially, but in reality. And one step at a time, moving in that direction. I'm going in that direction,
That's exactly where I wanted to get to or end with or summarize with. Yeah, so continue, how to do that in practice then. To apply this, to not just make it a podcast, episode that you're listening to on Saturday. That was fun. Go on with your life and nothing changes. Or, I mean, we could of course do that if we want, but if you want to change, then
you got to change. Then you got to adapt a new way of thinking and feeling and willing and accept a higher guide and authority that can actually not only suggest that we do things, but encourage us to, engage in lifestyle practices that will bring about the change. Just like you said, your doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, told you, okay, here's the formula for your diet, and now do it for 3 months. Okay, now maybe you should do it till next summer. And he's not only just giving you that and just walking away, but he's constantly checking on you, how you doing, what's happening now, maybe adjust it a little bit, and then encouraging you, well, don't stop so soon, continue. So it's the same kind of concept. It's exactly the same. It's just a different set of instructions, different, level of encouragement and a different goal. Not about to get mucus out of your body. It's about to get out of your body completely and return to the spiritual world, and keep the body healthy while you're in it. And then when it's time to go, you've prepared, This is that simple. So let's end with the one activity that is the most pure, powerful, potent, and recommended of all activities that I can do using my body and physical body and mind. And that's chant these mantras, chant the holy names. I mean, this is the recommended process. This is what will gradually change a person's life. See? So, the mantras transcendental sound have a transcendental spiritual effect upon us, the transcendental spiritual person that we are. And it's simple, it's easy, and should be done on a regular basis. If one can do it every day, that's best. even if a short length of time, but every day, and that's going to produce an amazing result. And this is not anybody but the Supreme Lord promoting this. See, then all those representatives of the Supreme Lord promote his promotion.
And we have a specific episode that's called the how and why of meditation, where you describe that in more detail, the various techniques additionally to what we're going to do now. So if anyone wants to check that out. Yeah.
So let's do that. We're going to chant a mantra, Gauranga Haribol.
I'll put that on the screen.
And I play guitar, and I chant that mantra, and then I stop, and everyone responds to what I chanted. Same tune, same words, etc. Just a repetition. And this is our main meditation in Bhakti Yoga. So it's always good just to relax. If you already know the words, or once you learn the words, you can even close your eyes and just let yourself go into that moment of the sound. Everybody. Haribol.
Hello. Okay.
So you can see that's easy and very enjoyable.
Yeah.
No big austerity there. And it's magic, really. I mean, it's magic. Yeah. Oh,
Do we
I think it's frozen.
am I frozen?
Ruben, you're frozen.
Need to put some more
Now you're back.
need to put some more firewood in the
In the computer.
In the computer. How I don't know if we have time for a few questions. I've had just a few coming in on different social media platforms. If you have time, Balakia.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes.
All right. Well, so first of all, there was one lady who was wondering about if you could explain what the Vedas are, Vedic Vedas.
The Vedas are the most ancient scriptures on the planet. They were written down 5,000 years ago by a literary of incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Srila Vyasadeva. And this is not the beginning of the Vedas. The Vedas are eternal. This is eternal knowledge. So before it was written down in this form of the Vedic scriptures, it was passed down orally through a line of perfect master-disciple to the present moment. This is called a disciplic succession or parampara. And so the truth comes from the Supreme Lord. He passes it down through his representatives. 5,000 years ago, this age of Kali Yuga, which Ruben referred to earlier, began. And one of the symptoms of us in the Kali Yuga is we have very short memories. So it was written down to facilitate our ability to grasp it. I can't just hear something one time and I've got it. I got to go back and study it and read it, et cetera, et cetera. And then this knowledge has been, presented by the great masters, presenting their expanded explanation of some of these truths. So this is the Vedic scripture. This is what they are.
Yeah, thank you.
And actually, the word Veda means truth or knowledge. You can use it either way, truth or knowledge.
There was also a person, I think maybe the same person, wondering about what your background is.
Look at my Happy Man channel, and you can see on the introduction. Anyway,
yeah.
It's
It's actually available on breakingtrail.life as well, our website. I linked your video there, Balakia.
Okay, yeah. So
but yeah.
Yeah, that gives you the basic idea behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's on this Breaking Trail Live about my background is, it's brief, but it's kind of to the point. But I grew up like, everybody in the material world, mom, dad, and, I'm the body kind of thing. One plus I had in my growing up is I was raised in a Christian family, so the whole concept of spiritual life and God and, Jesus and, serving the Lord and those kind of things were just basic ways of living for me when I grew up. And so that really was a big plus, all through my life, knowing those basic ideas about life. It was a big plus. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
I need to run because I got some
Exactly.
things I need to
You
do.
have more programs going on anyway, so.
Yeah, so.
Awesome.
So everyone, thank you very much for joining. Ruben, thank you for hosting it, and always good to back and forth.
Yeah.
Conversations.
Thank you, Alikia. And if anyone wants to check us out, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, You can go to breakingtrail.life and find all the links there, and possibility to subscribe to our podcasts, our episodes. So yeah.
Great.
Right.
Okay, namaste, Haribol.
Namaste. Thank you, Valakia.
Thank you, Ruben. Hare Krishna.
See you next week.
Ruben, you need to get a new stove. Thing only lasts about 20 minutes.
We'll end with that.